Welcome everybody on this Monday morning. It's Mindful Monday. And if you've never been to a Zoom before, you are missing a treat because I, for one, demonstrate the power of centering because I arrive uncentered and it's like this for a bit before we start and then we all center and then we all go, ah. So we'll have a centering first. Then we're going to come to the theme, things to think about, and then we're going to have a check-in around the theme. I don't know if you can hear today, but the weather is nice here today. It's cold. Well, it's cool, but lawn mowers are out aplenty, which is, it's not even like a Monday thing normally. It's a Saturday, Sunday thing, but there are lawn mowers everywhere. So in the recording, if you can hear noise, that's just life. It's life in the spring to summer months in the gardens of Stockton-on-Tees. Okay, let's have a centering. We always go back to our ABC, and I make no apology for that. And we luxuriate over a long centering because we can. We have the time here, and it's a good thing to practice. It's a good skill. You can speed up and do it fast and as you need throughout the day, but if we start with it slow, steady, luxurious. A is awareness, and that is noticing. Notice your environment, the sounds in the distance and nearby, the scents and smells, things you can see, letting your eyes glide over them, not getting too attached to the stories that come up. And then what you can touch. Notice your body resting, so perhaps your feet on the ground or your body on furniture. And the feel of clothing on your skin. And then noticing your body on the inside, bringing your awareness inwards. How am I today? What's calling my attention and my awareness the most? Shifting awareness to the breath, which goes on continually in the background without us even thinking about it. Without most of us thinking about it. This cycle going round and round. And then B for balance. So have a little rock. Or find balance however you choose, but I like to have the rock. Side to side, backwards and forwards, up and down, lengthening and softening a little bit, and finding that point of least effort. The balance almost needs you to sit with your head straight, almost like you had a book on it, so you could balance it. Bringing a little bit more balance to the breath, so perhaps counting the breath and having an equal inhale and exhale. And then C for core. The core is everything that holds us strong and tall. And we want softness through the core, so softening through the forehead, the eyes, the cheeks, the jaw. You can have a wiggle, the tongue, shoulders. Sometimes you have to move to see where the tension is in order to soften. The chest, the belly, the hands, the arms. And you can add softness with an exhale. So inhale and lengthen up through the spine. Exhale. One more. Inhale up. That's a good centering all on its own. That one breath. Second C for connection. You can bring to mind a person, a pet, anyone who makes you feel warm inside, past, present, future. Or if you're in the Zoom room, you can have a look on the screen. See the faces, the familiar faces. Spread all over the UK and to Sweden. That's what we are in the Zoom room. And then let all that go and notice. Let your awareness come back to your body. Notice how you feel. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, because we missed last week, 2 weeks ago, we had this book out and we were talking all about compassion. And for anybody who was with us on Saturday for the Roll Out Your Mat, we had a good bit of compassion going on there. I'm going to live stream that recording into the Facebook group this week. Perhaps I'll set it up for Thursday because I have a health appointment on Thursday, so I definitely can't do anything. So I'll live stream it for then and it'll stay in the Facebook group. With compassion, it's a practice, really. It's something that many of us need practice with, particularly to self. For many of us, it's easier to have compassion for others and skip self. However, I suggest to you, and you can test it out, that by deepening compassion to self, you can also be more discerning and deepen your compassion to others as well. Because it's a skill that perhaps we need a bit more practice with right here, at home, in this body. And the thing that came up today, but I did go looking for it, it wasn't quite as much as last time when I just opened the book and compassion was there, is acceptance. And my first thought when I opened the page was, oh no, I wanted awareness. And I thought, Helen, awareness isn't really an emotion. It's not really. Awareness is a thing that we do, but I'm not sure that we could call it an emotion. Let's see if awareness comes up in the book. No, it doesn't come up in the book. So, a step before acceptance is awareness, and we talk about awareness a lot, even when it's a yoga practice, whether from chair or wherever. We talk about awareness a lot. Notice how it feels. The noticing is the awareness. When we center, we have awareness first. All awareness through any sense. So before we get to the acceptance bit, the awareness comes in. And as we link this to self-compassion, the awareness is how we are in all ways. It's one of the things about a check-in, even if the check-in is a colour or the weather or a landscape or an animal. It's about being aware of how am I today in some form or other. And the next step from that, and we have talked about it before, we certainly talked about it in Befriending Me because we went awareness, acceptance. The next step is acceptance, and acceptance is not saying, I accept how I am and I'm staying like that. It's not doing that. The acceptance is the awareness and acknowledging it. Yep, this is how I am today. This is how I am this month. This is how I am this year. However, I'm going to develop a plan. That's the onward bit. The first bit is the acceptance. And especially for any of us who have any issue of any kind, actually, but any health challenge, any pain, any fatigue, any stress, any worry, if the acceptance is missing, we can't go on to do something to help. Now, when I was thinking about this, there's one of our Zoom room people, Zoom room person, you will know who you are. But I try not to mention names on recordings, even though I might put it in the Facebook group and say thank you. That came up last year was www. I had to remember then, you see. I don't mean World Wide Web. It's the what is working well. And some of acceptance is what is working well. So when we look at acceptance, notice how we are, notice what emotions there are, what's dominating our thoughts, and a little step further on is what is working well. And the reason I added in the what is working well to the acceptance is if we're having a bad day or a bad week or a bad month and we look at the acceptance, we can get caught up in the negative side of that. And we've all been there. It's human. Please do not berate yourself for doing that. I have this difficulty and it's never going to go away. I have this difficulty and I can't do X, Y, Z. The what is working well is reminding us of the stuff that's good, the stuff that we are doing, the stuff that we are achieving. I had to cancel Mindful Monday last week. What is working well? That long, hot, bubbly bath worked very well. Thank you very much. With a cup of tea and with Netflix on the iPad on the windowsill. Now, you might not consider that a mindful practice, but you know, not everything has to be a mindful practice. With a bit of self-compassion, some of it is about the metaphorical hug as well. So, I'm going to come back to acceptance, but my first invitation is to take a hug, never mind a metaphorical one. Hand round to shoulder, hand round to ribs, have a squeeze. And linking back into a bit of self-compassion and self-love. And even if you don't take the full hug, I invite you to take some kind of hug every day. And perhaps that's a reminder that we need on our notice board, our fridge, our phones. Take a squeeze in whatever form you want. So, the check-in. Okay. What kind of dessert? What kind of desserts are you today? You might, well, I'm not going to make any suggestions, but you can go, well, I'll tell you, you can go anything you want, anything. So your dessert might be really like decadent, or it might be a dry cracker without the cheese. The range is yours. As ever, it's by choice. You do not have to offer a dessert. I'm going to pause the recording, check in the Zoom room. Feel free, if you're watching the recording, to add your dessert check-in to the comments, should you choose. We have had some lovely puddings and desserts in the Zoom room, and looking at the qualities that they represent and accepting what they offer, but also seeing a bit of a direction of movement as well as to what the pudding or dessert might become. So, acceptance. It is so. Even though I may not like it, endorse it, or agree, it's accepting it. And you can't move on without the acceptance. So your tapioca stays your tapioca if you don't accept it, should you not want to stay in tapioca. Accepting it is step one. So the impact on our openness or to others is neutral to openness, because we're not fighting it. And that's the thing about the stresses, the things that we're facing, the challenges. Fighting them doesn't usually help. Our reaction or impulse with acceptance is to be at peace with what it is. Related emotions, a serenity, calmness, peace, and contentment. Its purpose is to help us align with reality. I've just remembered I didn't stick this in the group last week like I promised I would, and I see a Zoomy taking notes, and I will do it this time, I promise. I'll do it from both last week and this week. The orientation of time is present, which is what we want, the present moment. How it can get in the way by lack of motivation to change, which I don't think any of us have here, actually. But some people drop into a deep acceptance without any movement forward. And we need when I talked about the WWW, what's went well, there's a second part of it, even better if. So we will come to that direction of movement. Emotions we confuse with it. Tolerance. And that means to put up with it with something until it changes. And it's not about tolerance. It's not about that. It's about recognizing, saying it's there, and getting ready for the next stage. And a quote: life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That creates sorrow. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like, author unknown. How our body might feel relaxed and engaged. How our body might shape itself. Chest is open, belly is long and relaxed. So there's an openness, there's a yes-ness to acceptance. So we might explore yes. How our breath might be low in the belly, slow pace. How it feels or moves us. There's a stillness with no immediate need to take action. So let's go back to yes pose. I know we've done it before, but I sense with every single embody exploration we ever do, it's different every single time. And there's always more to explore. So I'm going to go over there. Yes pose. You can do what you like with your legs. You can stay seated, but if you're standing, the weight is back a little. The front leg is straight. The back knee is bent a little. Arms are down by the sides. Hands are outstretched. Chest is open. We're not in a back bend. We're not enthusiasm, but chest is open. Belly is soft and long. Jaw is soft. Mouth is open. Eyes are open, looking up perhaps a little bit. Yes. Accepting that this is what is here. Now. Present. And feeling into it. Notice if there is a shift in your body, how your body responds. Yes. I accept what is here. Notice if it is familiar, if there's any resistance to saying yes. And you don't have to keep the position. The position is the defined pose, but you find your version. Swap legs if you wish. Yes. Adding the sound. Yes. Yes to what is here. Yes to how I am. Yes. This is how I am today. And then either taking a hug or hand on heart, hand on belly, and coming back within. Self-kindness. self-compassion. Yes, I am feeling like this. Maybe that I'm not feeling so good. And yes, I accept that today. So extra self-compassion, self-care. Hug if you wish. You're already hand on heart, belly. And I'm even going to, I always, as you know, stick to one side. I'm going to take it to the opposite side. Because maybe sometimes we need to explore self-care in a different way. And then pause and let that go. Maybe have a little shimmy and a shake. Notice how your body feels and notice where that yes landed in your body and what, this is my question, my invitation, what would serve you well today? Accepting how I am today, what would serve you well today? Whether it's specific food or an extra act of self-care or comfier clothes or wander outside, what would serve you for that even better if? Let that go. I'm going to have a guided meditation. There will be time at the end to come back and reflect for anybody that wants to. So finding a comfortable position right now, whatever that is for you. Be warm enough. Lie down if that feels better. Sit tall if you prefer. We're going to incorporate a visualization again. I don't always incorporate a visualization, but I'd like to again today. So noticing how you feel again, noticing your body, noticing your breath, and noticing how you need to be supported. And taking your attention inwards once again. If you find yourself distracted, that's okay. Come back to the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Saying yes to what is here. And a walk through a park in your mind's eye. Perhaps you begin on the busy road and go through the gate into the park. Following the pathway down a hill. Grass spreading out to the side. And trees around the edge. You might see people walking dogs or young parents with pushchairs. And hear laughter, chattering in the distance. Notice the sky overhead. It's mild, it's bright. There's blueness coming through and clouds scattered. Following the pathway, meandering around, come to a fork. And taking the pathway to the left that goes down a hill, a gentle incline, descending down to the lake. Notice the lake, you can see it in front of you, extending into the distance, a big lake. Trees all the way around, coming into summer life. Ducks all gathered together on one side of the lake. nestling, snuggling up to each other, only moving when somebody walking past gets a little bit too close or brings the promise of food. Geese on the bank, watching over the ducks, and perhaps a pair of swans gliding across the water. The water is still. It's a serene view, and the clouds from the sky reflected in the water of the lake. And in the very center, there's a small island, overgrown, perhaps with remnants from trips that children have made in a boat. Come across an area to settle, take in the view, perhaps leaning against a tree. And here in your mind's eye, you can soften your gaze or close your eyes and take your awareness deeper inwards. Noticing the top of the head, your hair, your face, sensations around the eyes, the cheeks, the mouth. And noticing whatever arises here and saying, yes, I see you. I feel you. I accept what is here. Breathing in and breathing out. The acceptance and saying yes. Awareness moving through your neck, to the shoulders and down into each arm. Noticing the length of each arm, the upper arms and elbows, the lower arms and wrists, the skin and the muscles, and the space around the arms. Awareness of the hands, arms, the back, each finger, each thumb, the space between the fingers. Awareness of whatever arises here, whatever sensations emerge, accepting what is here, saying yes. Breathing in and breathing out. Accepting, saying yes. Letting awareness travel back up the arms, through the body down to the hips, and down into each leg. Noticing the hips themselves, the hip joints, the upper legs, the knees and the lower legs. Perhaps you can sense the skin, the muscles running through the legs, strength and support. Space around the legs and down to each ankle, to each foot, noticing the heels, top of the feet, the soles of the feet, and each toe. Noticing the space between each toe. Having awareness of whatever arises in the legs and feet. Accepting whatever is there in this moment as it is. Breathing in and breathing out with acceptance. Saying yes to whatever is here. Awareness of both arms, awareness of both legs, the hands, the feet, the fingers and the toes. Then shifting your awareness to the belly and the pelvis. Sensing movements as you breathe. The skin shifting slightly against clothing and the space around the belly, the lower back, the pelvis. Taking awareness deeper to the inside of the belly and pelvis. And noticing whatever arises here. Accepting what is here. Saying yes to what is here. Breathing in and breathing out with acceptance, with yes. Allowing awareness to move up into the chest. Sensing, imagining the space around the chest. The skin covering the chest and the upper back. Perhaps the skeleton within, the spine and the rib cage. Protecting the lungs and the heart within. Noticing whatever arises here. Sensations, emotions. Noticing where they live, where they are today. Accepting whatever is here in this moment. Saying yes. I see you. I feel you. I hear you. Yes. Breathing in and breathing out with acceptance, with yes. opening awareness to the whole body here. Sensing, imagining, expanding your awareness to the whole body, resting here. Noticing what arises within, what draws your attention, and accepting whatever is there. Saying yes. Allowing your attention to rest here for the next couple of minutes. Breathing in and breathing out. With acceptance. Saying yes. Acceptance of whatever is here. Saying yes with compassion. With self-care and self-love. By this lake, resting here. Gently moving back along the pathway. That's the ducks, the swans, the trees, the grass. Gently making your way back to the park gates. Knowing you can come back anytime you choose. As we reach the end of this practice, perhaps consider what you might say yes to today, accept today with self-kindness and self-care, self-compassion. Taking any movements you need, perhaps a stretch, or Maybe a hug, or hand to heart, hand to belly. And slowly, as you're ready, gently coming back to where we began. An invitation to do something extra for you today. It doesn't have to be big, just something that you're naming, something extra that you hadn't already planned. I'm going to stop the recording, check in with the Zoom room. We will see you soon.